Girl, I think you're royalty, and you deserve nothing less than my loyalty. You hold me down, in return you get more of me. That's how it feel when you're someone's priority, babe. Now what you gonna do with that? I know you ain't used to that. I'll show you better, babe.
I know you're used to letdowns and heartbreaks, lost in silhouettes of your heartaches. I can show you better.
So, welcome to Grown Folks Business. I'm your hostess, Goddess Sierra. The lovely Goddess Earlene is not with us tonight currently, and we are back live on InnerlightRadio.com. And I can barely sit in my seat because I am so happy once again to have the Yoni Whisperer. Yes, ladies, that's what I call him. Antonio Petersen here with us live tonight. And Antonio, are you here with us?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Once again,
Greetings.
Here we have that velvet smooth voice. I'm telling you, ladies, all the attributes of a fine king. I am so thankful to have this brother with us again. So many of you all were calling and texting and emailing and inboxing about this gentleman. And here's the thing. I think all of that is great, Antonio. I think it's great. But once again, it showed me the space where women are still in arousal and ideologies instead of pleasure. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely.
Right. So here we have, your beautiful velvet voice, your sensually, chiseled back and your beautiful form on the advertisements. And that was enough. That was enough to just drive them crazy. And they were calling and they were wanting to know, and they were so excited. And I remembered the time when, yes, that would have been my response to such an amazing king. But would I have known what I needed once I got to his personal space? And so that's what I want to talk about tonight, along with your work, is just healing. For people to understand and to understand that healing, of course, begins and ends with self. As we are both facilitators and we assist people in their healing process, it's very important that people understand that the healing, the capabilities, the desire, everything is resourced within first. And so what you do is an amazing work. People wanted to know more about it. I didn't want to explain it because I wouldn't do you justice. So can you tell the people once again a little bit about yourself and what you do as you assist the goddess in her healing?
Sure. And also I wanted to touch on the actual point that you made about healing. Mm-hmm. When seeing my image, whether it's appealing to the eye or not, I think women or people are actually picking up on my healing energy that's coming from the image as well.
All of us healers say that, but at the end of the day, it's good old-fashioned lust. Hate to tell you that, Antonio. We all love to say that as healers. I love to say that, but low vibrational people, they simply lust, and that's just it. They have no idea. Of course the spirit resonates, but that's not what they call it for, bruh. I'm going to just let you know that's not the phone calls. They weren't interested in your healing.
I feel you. I understand. But whether or not they're able to acknowledge that reaction or not does not mean the reaction is not there. It's a natural thing for you to pick up on a frequency that is at a level that can actually assist you. If your body's
they definitely wanted your assistance. They definitely wanted your assistance. And I'm going to tell you, I completely understood why. But I understand from a different aspect because I respect your work and I understand exactly what it is that you're desiring and the community that you desire to create. So, yes, all well and dandy. once they get into a higher vibration, that is absolute. The spirit resonates where the soul doesn't, people. Your soul is your emotions, your thoughts, and your feelings, but your spirit is that space of being that has always been, that eternal space that has never been born and never dies. And so, yes, you are resonating with this brother's, caramel skin and his luscious lips and his sensual back and his chiseled abs. And then after all of that is his healing ability. If you just meditate and get your mind right. So, Antonio, tell us what it is that you do, all that you do.
I try to actually match my energy with the feminine energy, in a way that's not demanding or aggressive. It's actually in a way of worship. And this technique is very ancient. And it's really not known in our modern day life. The way we communicate with each other, it definitely helps with that. It helps the man realize his feminine side, and it helps the woman realize her masculine side, and at the same time respecting both and actually wanting to experience both sides. So you're exchanging energy with your queen. And first of all, you have to view your woman not as a bitch, but I'm sorry, can I curse?
Well, you just did, so keep going.
Excuse me. But you have to change your perspective on what a female is to you, and once you recognize the goddess in this individual in front of you, you'll desire to worship her. And
Absolutely.
She'll feel what that feels like, and it'll change her perspective of you.
And I'm telling you, at that point, she will be glistening with yin energy. Ladies, when I tell you, this man, he just has me glistening on air. I just love to hear what he's talking about because I've elevated my mind and I'm out of the space of attraction. And I love the way he calls the goddess within. And I'm aroused by myself. How you doing? That is what's beautiful about it, is this man actually, not only is he merging his energy with yours and bringing up your level, but this thing is brightening your self-esteem, it's brightening your day, it's lifting your spirits, it's going within to that place of being, like I said, and pulling out all that you are, and not the mindset that has been downtrodden by the spirit of Western belief, which is low vibrational thought, that victimized thought. As I was talking with a young lady the other day about you, she began to bring up sexual traumas. And, she began to tell me, well, when you were victimized, and I had to tell her, no, dear, I wasn't a victim. I had some experiences, because I've learned even to change my thought process and my speech concerning the things that I have encountered in my yoni and what a difference that makes. But one of the things you do see a lot is sexual women who have experienced sexual traumas. Am I correct?
Yes, and when that happens, it's stored in the womb. And what I do actually helps to heal the womb, heal the heart chakra as well.
Yes, that's what we're talking about tonight, ladies, a negative womb imprint. And I remember a time I talked with several women this week, and they said, I just don't feel anything. And here's the thing. When your heart chakra is closed, what could you expect to feel when all that you have in your root stored is anger, bitterness, wrath, and strife? Of course, you're operating only from your solar plexus, and you're operating only from your power source. No, you would not be able to feel anything. Yet I know, as a woman, Antonio, I actually participated in intercourse for years without feeling, meaning without feeling in my heart. Of course, my yoni felt. That thing is it has its own purpose, but I didn't feel anything within my heart. I was closed. And is that something that you have experienced to be pretty much the norm?
Well, the norm
in the terms of women who have experienced traumas?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. When you experience the trauma, especially for a woman, where what tends to happen is she builds up a defense mechanism. First of all, to make sure that it never happens again.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, to make sure it's never spoken of again. And then third of all, you have to pretend like everything is okay and move on forward to the next day, which is very difficult to do. So, your heart chakra, your throat chakra, and sometimes even your yoni is blocked. It's very difficult. So, when you see a yoni massage, you're put in a position to face that. You're put in a position to face it, but not with fear. You're facing it through a pleasure center. So it's eased into the actual circumstance, and then you can face it and get over it. After that time, you have that closure, and now you have a healthy sex life to look forward to.
And ladies, when he says get over it, he's not dismissing your claims. What he's saying is that you actually get the opportunity to readjust your thought process and heal and recover. And so, yeah, I know a lot of times I just address that because I remember a lot of times, even when I was in ministry, I was told, just get over it. And it was something that I struggled with. It was like a trigger for me. So I just want you ladies to understand that's not what he means when he says get over it. He's talking about your complete and total healing. We do have a couple of callers on. Caller, area code 845-665. Are you with us?
Good evening. Yes.
Good evening. Hi, how are you?
Good evening.
I'm good. How are you? I just chimed in, so I'm not caught up to the total info.
Okay.
But just to give a little bit of insight of someone that has been abused, it can be a two-edged sword. And in my case, where I wasn't getting the love and attention at home from the father figure, it was a male, my father's best friend. And I did not find the trauma that most women find. It didn't hit me until I was 39. I understood what had happened to me fully. So for me, at that time, when I was being abused for 4 years, I found it more accepting. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
It was more of an emotional abuse, but I didn't fully get it. Until I was 39, I realized that I had been, raped of my innocence. And that was more powerful than the physical rape of it. The innocence of what was taken from me. I didn't go into my teenage years like most teenagers do. Ended up having a child at that time out of wedlock. And I went through so much trauma of that. And because I had gotten pregnant out of wedlock, because I was very strict, I was kicked out the house and ostracized and, started from literally the bottom up of just having a bed and no crib, no nothing, because I had this child out of wedlock. So, by 39, I was suicidal with the breakdown and, trying to figure out what was going on. So all that time from teenage up until I was 39, I finally kind of embraced that part of me. I remember going to see a gynecologist, and she was a black gynecologist, and which I had never went to a female. It was always a male. And she was very, very thorough. And she was questioning me. I'm thinking she's just going to examine me. We're going to have the pap smear, et cetera. And that didn't happen. She started asking a series of questions, and I was asking, any cancer, any this in your family? And she stopped around the sixth or seventh question. She said, any molestation?
Wow.
I was frozen. I guess she knew. She could tell. That was one of the things that most doctors don't do. And then she went on to tell me, she said that most women that have been molested or abused sexually, they do one of a few things. they become bulimic, promiscuous, or they put on so much weight that they don't want to become attractive.
Yes, I had 2 out of those 3. I wish I'd had some bulimia, but no, sister was eating. I was eating that pain away. Yes, caller, I understand what you're saying. So and here's the thing, though. To have a gynecologist, I go to a spiritually led gynecological company that is all Black women, and it's very beautiful. And to say that, to have that question asked to you, how powerful is that? Because it really shows, number one, that she could have experienced it, or number two, just been spiritually in tune with what you needed. And that is a beautiful thing. Without taking too much time, because I have other callers, I do understand we have the lovely Earlene with us now. Earlene, can you hear us?
Earlene?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, is it storming where you are?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's storming here too. So for this caller, Earlene, if you could just read her energy and see where she is, if that's okay with you, caller, if she can see where you are in your yoni at this particular time.
Sure.
Sure.
I've done some healing, so
yes, of course.
But yeah.
And we want to encourage you in that. We want to see if there's anything coming towards her, Earlene, or if there's any area where she should definitely focus on as she goes through this year. And I think we lost her. Did we lose her? Yes, we lost her. It's storming. It's storming all over this eastern seaboard here tonight. Caller, if you can just place yourself on hold. If we get her back, we will definitely bless you with that energetic reading. I have another caller on hold currently. Area code 757-817. Are you here? I think that caller is probably listening, so we'll just let that caller listen. This here, Antonio, is still such taboo for women. It pains me. I even had so many women who said, I didn't want to talk. I just wanted to listen. I mean, even out of the fear of their voice being recognized. And I think that is just a terrible space to be in, especially in 2017, that we are still living in this paradigm of fear and condemnation about who we are and what we've been. And so, I just want to encourage my callers tonight. It's okay. You're here in a loving space. You are supported. There is no judgment. We see you on the line. We will not call upon you except for my one caller who is holding, if we can get Goddess Earlene back. And I want you to talk about this, Antonio, because it is so prevalent. I know for years that I walked in the shame and I felt like there was a sign on my forehead and it said everyone knew. I felt like that's not what I thought the sign said. I thought the sign said something very vulgar, but I felt like everyone could see that I was a target. I attracted men that were predators. I attracted men that sought to abuse me more. My energy field was just very lacking, and I attracted men of that caliber. And then I went into the depression of, what is wrong with me? Why can't I have a better man, a better partner? And I was thankful to get a very loving husband during the time of brokenness who really tried to heal those issues, but definitely was not strong enough. We didn't have the knowledge or the wherewithal to even know how to begin to heal. Okay, caller 845-665. Can you come back on because Goddess Earlene is back? Are you here?
Hi.
Love it. Good.
Yes, I am.
So, Earlene, if you're back on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. If you can go ahead and bless this sister with just reading her energy, and if there's any area where she can continue to work as she goes in 2017.
Let's see. Well, you definitely would benefit from paying attention to both your root chakra and your heart chakra. Those two areas, the energy in those areas are very dim, meaning that you will benefit from some cleansing and release, especially in your root chakra. It's showing that you've basically stored some fear in you emotionally. And it looked like you're going through a little bit of both a healing and a rebuilding phase in your life. I am seeing that you are focused and you do have a lot of structure and control. But fear can block you from progressing and doing new things in your life. And especially taking chances with things, especially of an emotional nature, of a loving nature. It can get in the way of that. I know.
Can you repeat that again?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Repeat that again.
So sorry, y'all. I'm in yacht country.
What she's saying is that fear can cause a blockage in your life, and it can cause you not to really walk in the healing power that you have done and the work that you have done. Is that what I'm hearing, Earlene?
Yes, she would benefit from having both her heart and her root chakra clear, because it's showing in both those areas she stored fear.
Yeah.
Which can both block you, or they can block you negatively, and kind of like can
counteract
emotionally. Yes.
Right. And they can kind of counter the work that you had done. Fear, I'm telling you, fear is an energy that has taken a life form because so many people are operating in it. And that wasn't the purpose of fear. People have misunderstood the purpose of fear. Fear was always just here as an indicator, just to let you know spiritually to go a different direction when there was danger. Now we have allowed fear to take on a different life form of being something that we just simply manifest with a thought process that isn't even real or hasn't shown us any danger. And that's a danger within itself, because then sometimes when we're in danger, we don't recognize it because we've removed fear from that space, and we've allowed fear to be just a space where we don't want to enter into feeling emotional pain. And that can be very confusing to the multiverse. And so, caller, I want to encourage you to definitely take heed to what she has said. Antonio, do you do any distance work? That's one of the questions I would ask you.
Yes, I do. I don't specialize in it though, but I am familiarizing myself with it now. It's very important.
Okay. So, caller, even if you reach out to me, I have other healers that do distance work, and I know healers in a lot of different cities. And so we just want to encourage you, if you want to stay on the line and listen, that's great. But just to encourage you to continue to do that work, because I can sense your spirit and I can see that you have clawed your way out of really what would have seemed like a place of no return. I mean, sister, you are strong. You have taken tooth and nail and dug yourself out of some situations and circumstances, but this fear can be the thing that holds you back and that counters all the work that you have done. So we want to get that out of you. Are you with understanding?
Yes, I am.
Absolutely. Yes. Great. So keep listening in. You can go ahead and mute yourself or you can hang up. But we thank you so much for calling in tonight to Grown Folks Business.
Thank you.
Thank you. Much love. So, Earlene.
Hello.
Hello, beautiful goddess. you know, I'm still getting the text messages about Antonio as they listen in, and I just love that, because that's a beautiful thing. It is an honor, of course, for the king to have so much of a he following. I love that, but. I love that. It's like the giggling girls following. It reminds me of when you saw your first cute boy and your yoni recognized that he was cute too, and it was that nervous laughter and that, oh my God, what's happening? I remember the first time that happened to me, when my actual heart and my yoni connected to one another. I was so confused because I had gone through having my yoni misused, and I really didn't know the thing had any feeling. It just did what it wanted. But I remember when I saw the first person that I was attracted to, and how my yoni was like, how you doing? And my heart was like, how you doing? And I was so confused as to what was happening, because I felt all of those nerve endings and all that throbbing, and it was very, very powerful. But then I remember going to seek help concerning it, and I was shamed. And so for years, I grew up with a shamed yoni, and not really with the understanding of the power of my beautiful, beautiful yoni. And so, Antonio, how do you deal with a woman who is clearly feeling you? Because listen, I love all the beautiful healer talk. I do. But at the end of the day, you're a fine brother. You understand what I'm saying? I like to keep it real on grown folks' business. I love all of the, I just want to be one with the chi and the ching. I love all of that. But at the end of the day, you're fine. Okay. And you're single. So listen, on grown folks' business, ladies, no, he doesn't misappropriate with his clients, so don't think you're going to get an appointment for that. But how do you transmute that feeling? Because this feeling is normal. It's not abnormal. It's not anything to downplay. It's not anything to pretend isn't happening in the room. But if, what I'm asking you is that, I don't know what you like, but I'll just say a woman that I think is beautiful. If I get on your table, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Something early. What I'm saying is, if Beyonce gets on your table, God, she's gorgeous.
Man.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? If Beyonce gets on your table, what do you do? Lord,
I definitely keep it professional. I want to keep her as a client.
Right. Absolutely.
I want to keep her as a client. I want her to refer me to everybody. But the thing is that with Tantra, not even just with the yoni massage, anything that you're doing that has tantric work behind it, it's not something for you to do with somebody you just met, especially somebody that's giving you money. These are techniques that you use, with love in your heart and healing in your heart and a welcoming heart. You're completely vulnerable. So I have to neutralize my energy. It has to be neutral.
He said neutralize, ladies. Neutralize. He got to neutralize that energy.
It's like coming with a warning label. I can't just play around with that. So I have to respect it. That's why it's not for everybody.
And that's the thing. It's not for everybody. So ladies and gentlemen, you want to make sure that you get into the community and talk openly about the person that's offering you enlightenment, or the person that's offering you healing, because I have heard the horror stories that women have experienced in dealing with a man who doesn't keep it neutral. I'll just keep it that way. A man who is not able to pull his ching into position, and that yang energy overtakes him and he oversteps his bounds, and then the woman is left hurting the more. I have experienced it personally, and I have talked to women who have experienced it. So make sure that you get into the community and you talk. I've talked about this brother. I haven't heard a negative word about him. I've heard all of the tee-hees about him. But I haven't heard a negative word, and that's a beautiful thing.
Right quick. We have a sacred sexuality retreat coming up in October.
Yes,
If you want to find out more about it.
I was going to let you get to that in 1 second.
I apologize.
But since you're there, because a lot of people, they this is still taboo. They're listening like, oh, they're already dying. They're texting me. So first of all, sex is sacred. It's sacred. It happens between a yoni, which is a sacred space, and a lingam, which is a tower of light. It doesn't happen between a penis and a vagina, people. And a marriage happens when that lingam enters into that sacred space. It's not a wedding, but it is a marriage. It's a covenant, a union. And so, Antonio, can you tell us about that sacred sexuality retreat that's coming up in Destin, Florida?
Yes. It starts in October. It's a 5-day retreat. It's right by a beautiful beach, and it's a mansion. So basically, you would come out. There are 2 types of tickets. The first tickets are if you have a place to stay. You can go ahead and just take part in all of the functions, and then at the end of the night, go where you are already arranged to stay. If not, you can take part in our tickets that are arranged for you to stay in the mansion. So if you want more information, just go onto my Facebook page. It's Antonio Petersen. I'll be posting updates periodically.
And tell them how they spell your last name.
Petersen is with all E's. Petersen.
Yes. All E's, ladies, and no SON. It's SEN. And I was looking over that when you gave me that information, and I'm going to tell you, I used to be one of those people that if you said something like that to me, I started screaming orgy and hiding and panicking because I didn't understand the sacredness of the union of the yoni and the lingam. One of the quotes that I was reading today, it said, the desire aroused by seeing the yoni never dies. The yoni is named the mysterious female and the doorway of the mysterious female. It is the base from which heaven and earth sprang. It is there with us all the while. Draw upon it as you will, because it never runs dry. I mean, hello. Right?
Ooh,
it never runs dry. And I remember reading this today, and my yoni bowed down to the quote. It was just like, yes, I'm here and I'm moist. And I was like, wow, because I remember a time in my life when I could not feel that. It was as if my well was completely dry. They have so many aids out now, women. These things are not healing aids. They got all of these different gels and lubricants and waxes and all of these things for your yoni that are really corrupting your healing. When I went back, I used to be the queen of the 2-year-old yoni, meaning hairless, because running around with a 2-year-old yoni because I was told that was, that was the end thing. And I remember the first time I did it, and I just itched to pieces. I was scratching. I could barely keep myself still. It was so uncomfortable, and it took months of me removing my hair to get used to it. But what happened was my sensory perception just died down there. And it seems that now that I have allowed her to look as she's supposed to, boy, is she really powerful. And as I read, your pubic hairs store your pheromones. They give off your scent. They do so many. They're an antenna. So ladies, when you're running around with a bald peacock, it is quite possible that you will keep picking up the wrong mate because you don't have that antenna that tells you.
I have no antenna. Good Lord. No, people don't need an antenna. Some antennas do not smell right. I'm sorry about that.
Early, you have an intuitive mind that allows you to know when a booger is no good. But these other ladies, listen, some of y'all need to grow your antenna back. As I sat in the spa last week, I heard this woman going on and on and on about how terrible men were. And yes, I happened to look down and she had a bald head yoni. And I wanted to tell her, grow your hair back, sister, so that you can Find a decent man so you can have an antenna and stop getting into bed, being a victim, because her and her whole crew were just clean as the morning sun, and they were all harping on how horrible men were. And so, ladies, I'll encourage you, as Amber Rose said, to bring back the bush. There were so many women that just criticized that beautiful woman and her beautiful yoni. Listen, you can't get mad. That woman's yoni was beautiful. Her body was snatched to the gods. She looked amazing, and her ad was very tasteful. And it's amazing how quick we are to attack one another for our femininity and our beauty. And so, Antonio, what would you say to women when it comes to this body shaming and imagery hating that is so prevalent in our community?
Oh man, our Western perception of what beautiful and sexy is a hard act to follow. Mm-hmm. The pictures that they're painting of how a woman should look, and how she should walk, what she should dress, and it's not fair, and then on top of that, what we're being fed on a daily basis is promoting bad health and weight where you don't want it to be, and we're not really working out the way we're supposed to. So it's very difficult, and it affects women in a different way. It doesn't affect men the same way. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier for a woman to lose her shape or to gain weight when she didn't know it was there. And it's a lot harder for her to get it off as well. So it's a double-edged sword, so all I can say is that, try to find a way to institute a workout into your lifestyle and make it not about the way you look. Make it about a long, healthy life.
Yes.
Make it about health. Once you have a stable foundation for why you're doing something, you'll have a reason to do it consistently. If it's just about the way you look, you can get over in the wintertime sometimes because you wear more clothes. So you're not going to be worrying about it. You're only going to worry about when you have to take the clothes off in the summertime. And then it's a constant cycle of the same thing,
I have some guests, Antonio, that are asking, real quick, Earlene, 1 second. I have some guests that are asking, do you have a website, because they are not on Facebook?
I do have a website. Unfortunately, it's being rebuilt right now. Okay. It is relieveyourburden.com. But yeah, it's being worked on right now. What you can do is my phone number. I'll give you my phone number, which is 470-389-2275.
And I also, do you have an Instagram? Because I know some of these people are on Instagram.
I do. It is at Rahdeez, RAHDEEZ.
I'm not even going to ask what that means. Okay, Earlene, go ahead with what you were saying. He got me sweating again tonight, Lord Jesus.
Well, I think that a lot of women are just insecure. I think it's just a feminine insecurity that we've been raised with and been forced to live around among women. Women will frown at other women if they have a perfect shape, even if they know that that woman has worked so hard on their body. And I think it's the insecurity in various women, not all of them, that puts shame on other women's bodies. They feel like everyone should have their body covered up. But one thing that I saw when I went to Florida is the women, all ages, all sizes, they had no clothes on. It's not like I felt like a prude, and I'm nowhere near prude. But down there, they celebrated their bodies, whether they were ill-shaped, badly formed, or, fit. No one cared, and nobody even, paid any attention to the fact that they didn't have clothes on. It varies from woman to woman. Not all women feel that way, but I would say the majority are insecure, and they force it onto each other.
Absolutely. I have a question here on the board. I'm sorry,
Definitely.
Early.
I mean, it.
I can't hear you. What you say, Early? I never know if she's on.
Oh no,
or
go
off.
ahead. You said you had a question.
Yeah, we have a question here because this one said she needs some advice. Antonio, she said, I resisted a man for 6 months and he was unrelenting. And after finally giving in and speaking to him on the phone, after 2 days of conversation, I got an orgasm while he spoke to me. I thought that I was losing my mind. I need some advice. I'm not sure what she needs advice on, maybe on the fact that she had an orgasm based upon a conversation, but it should start there. If you can only have an orgasm from intercourse, you're in the wrong place. It should start with that conversation. But I want Earlene to answer that after you, Antonio. Go ahead.
I'm trying to get actually what she was saying. So she's saying she held out sexually for 6 months.
No. She held out even dealing with him, like talking to him. They didn't have any sex. They just had two phone conversations, and she had an orgasm.
2 phone conversations within 6 months. I heard 6 months.
She says she resisted him for 6 months, but he was unrelenting. And after finally giving in and speaking to him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what does that mean, resisted?
Meaning, come on now, women, the brother's pushing up on her and she's like, beat it. My house is dirty. I don't want to talk to you. My kitchen's closed. She's resisting. She's not interested in a conversation.
All right. And then she finally gave in and then the first conversation she had an orgasm.
The second one.
Second conversation she had an orgasm. Okay.
Right. She thought she was losing her mind.
Well, I mean, you've been aroused on the phone. It's a beautiful thing for that to happen. That means the frequency that this person is on is very similar to yours, or it also could mean that if you were holding out for 6 months, you might be kind of horny, and it's it is mating season. It is mating season. This is the time for your hormones to be ready for any type of sexual encounter. So if he's the person that is filling that space within that time frame, an orgasm on the phone sounds very logical. Go ahead and call him again.
I think you've been knowing early, because that sounds like some mess she would say. You're horny. Early, what do you think? What do you see? I'm reading that and I'm so deep. I'm like, okay, she's feeling shame around her orgasm, and Tony goes, you might be horny. So, Early, what do you think about that?
I really feel like, yeah, I do think that she a little horny, but from a spiritual standpoint, whatever the connection and the conversation she had with this man, it aroused the energy of sex, renewal, and union. I mean, like marital union. Mm-hmm. So she had chemistry with this man, and whatever it awoken in her, it made her have that orgasm. It was not, I would love to say that it was just her being horny, and I do think you horny, darling, but it was a little deeper than that. This was energetic. It was not just lust. So you and him actually had a connection that created that orgasm. So he had a hand in helping you out. He just may not had a physical hand, but he did have a spiritual one.
So for that caller on the board, I'll keep your name private. I would say call that brother back. Call that brother back and explore. Ladies, we have to stop being ashamed of femininity. I think that I know for years I thought femininity was just what Marilyn Monroe taught, and I raised my voice higher and I acted like a bimbo because I thought that was femininity. And I still think Marilyn is one of the sexiest chicks ever. But I grew up watching Marilyn Monroe, and I thought that was all that a man wanted was what appeared to be a bimbo. And I found out that men do honor the strength of femininity. They do honor the sensuality and the love of authenticity. And men would not be so visual if we stopped giving them so much visual. Men, I've been talking to some brothers and they're pretty deep. The difference is we're always trying to catch their eye and never really catch their intellect, never catch their mind. And so as we're coming into this paradigm shift in this age of Aquarius, and this spiritual awakening and this enlightenment, I hope that we are starting to recognize, listen, all men aren't bad brothers. They aren't all whack and all that. That is a myth. It's a very small percentage that we're allowing to shift our perception of men. It's a very small percentage, ladies. And they're good brothers out here. And plenty of them. And the difference is we have to start looking within and notice the spaces where we're far too critical. We're far, we have this thing of what we want it to look like. Listen, ain't nothing wrong with some of these chunky brothers. Ain't nothing wrong. Listen, put some love in his life and he might slim down. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with some of these brothers that don't know that they can get a fade instead of just a regular, these are the things that you can help. A temple taper, a nice shape up. Some of these brothers just need some work, but you're just being so critical and you're broken anyway. And so in that brokenness, of course, you're going to bring forth nothing but negativity. You're not going to see what's right in front of you. And boys sometimes can go through a very awkward period in their life where they experience us extremely critical of them. And it kind of downs their perception of us as they grow older. I've talked with a lot of men that have said, hey, I went through my awkward phase. I was really, really tall. Antonio is a tall god. I mean, Antonio, how tall are you?
6'5".
Yes. I just wanted you to say it. I know how tall he is, ladies, but he's a tall brother. Can you tell me how tall you were at 13? Can you recall?
Maybe like 6'2".
Good, googly goo. When I tell you wasn't nobody 6'2" when I was 13, I was 5'10" at 13 and I was being called lurch and so many things in school and all the boys were really small. I would have loved to have Antonio Petersen in school with me. I would have felt normal. But, guys were calling me lurch. They would say things like you rang. And, I was very, very tall. I was very, very tall. And even in high school, I was taller than most of the boys. And so I wasn't looking at ninth graders when I was in ninth grade. I was looking at seniors, because they had the height and everything that I was requiring. And I remember liking a boy and he was very short. And my mother asked me, what was I stupid that, that boy was short. I looked ridiculous liking him. And she went into this whole thing. I mean, I wasn't even marriage available. My mother went into how my kids was going to be ugly and tiny. I mean, she went into this whole construct and put a lot of perceptions in me that made me, if a man wasn't 6'2", that's my height requirement. I'm not looking. Even if a brother's 6 feet, I'm not looking. A man has to be 6'2" before I'm looking, because when I put on heels, I am 6'2". And so that's what I like. So what I'm saying, ladies, is these are the constraints that we can put on ourselves, even from parental upbringing, that keep us from getting the man that is for us. I remember talking to a lady and she was so racist and she said, I can't find a husband. And I said, there is a husband for you. The difference is he's black. So you'll never know. And I fell out laughing because she was so racist. She didn't want to date anything but a white man, and she wasn't a white woman. But I told her, there's a husband for you. He's just black, and you'll never know because you can't get out of your negative constructs. And so I want to encourage you. I did 2 years of yes. I said yes to every date that I was asked on, and I had a great time in those 2 years of yes. I even went out with a man that was about 600 pounds, and I cracked up while he just ate a salad, and I was like, why don't you stop playing? Why don't you stop playing? But I enjoyed myself, and I found out that getting to know people is a beautiful space. It's a beautiful space of healing. When you stop putting so much judgment on people, you'll stop putting so much judgment on yourself. That's what I found to be accurate. So, Earlene, what would you say to that? I sometimes I worry about asking her what she thinks about that.
Well, I think that you're right. I think that you're right. I think that some people should be open. I'm very picky about men myself. I'm not judgmental. I just like what I like. But I have a secret love for fat men. They just can't have extremely big stomachs. Okay? That's my thing. And I Sierra, stop. Okay? Give me a chance. Give me a chance.
I feel you. I like the fat boys. I'm with the fat boys. I like them. Go ahead.
I mean, and I like, I do like men that are fit. But, you can't be judgmental because I feel like some people, they look past the good men and they go for the bad one. It's terrible. I mean, but a man can never be too kind. He can never be too nice. He can never be too attractive. You could very well be cheating yourself out of a husband. Or a good man. A good lover.
Oh, yes. I remember when I was younger, I dated a guy who was he was a celebrity though, so he had some cake, he had some money, but he was about maybe 500 and something pounds. And I'm gonna tell you, ladies, that when he slapped that tummy, that was like a ride in the ocean. I don't even think we were having intercourse, but I'm gonna tell you what, I rode them waves in the ecstasy.
Oh my goodness.
So early, you might be missing out on a fat stomach. Because I definitely wasn't. He definitely had not penetrated me, but my goodness, I had the time of my life.
I got 2 words for you. 2 words, 3 syllables. Okay? It's called belly farts. No.
Well, ladies, I can promise you won't have any of those with Antonio Petersen, because that brother is chiseled like, the God Thor. Do you hear me? I just want him to bring down the hammer. Yes! When I tell you this brother is chiseled from the gods, it is something amazing. But doesn't mean that you're going to get a man that looks like that or is shaped like that or has that wonderful 6'5" stature. And he is a beautiful being. I just love you, Antonio, and I thank you so much because he's taken time out of walking his form all through a party tonight to be with us, and I'm so grateful to him. And the women wanted to hear your voice again, and I never have enough time to talk to you. But are you going to be at the Sacred Sexuality Retreat?
I am. I'm one of the practitioners.
Oh, Lord,
we'll have 5 practitioners, and it'll be a great time if you come out. It'll be an educational portion in the beginning, and then the fun begins at the end.
Oh my goodness, I'm sweating. See, this is last week when I finished with you, I was sweating. He just energetically brings it up. I'm telling you, and that's a beautiful thing because I can feel all of the sensories in my body, ladies, and I'm still getting your text messages, and yes, they sweating too. And so, but that's the thing. That's that Ching energy. That's that sensual and sexual energy, and it's beautiful. It doesn't mean that you're going to run around and jump on people's, body parts and stuff, but you want to know that you're a woman and that you're alive. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And if you're on this call tonight and you're feeling alive, listen, that don't matter if you're mad at that man. Go in there and serve him up. Get yourself out of the space of holding your yoni hostage for your emotions. Stop that, ladies. Listen, it's nothing wrong with being a little bit upset, because when the brother knows that you're upset, he tends to put in a little extra little extra power, you know, you know, a little extra power to get you in the right frame of mind. So if you're mad, you know, be glad. Go on in that room and be thankful that you got a man that can knock it out the park. And if he can't knock it out the park, go on and reach in your nightstand and finish yourself up. Because I understand where you're at, you know. But I just want to thank Antonio. I want to thank beautiful Earlene. Once again, every week she's holding me down if she's not in Florida with the naked people. And so, do you have any final words, Earlene?
Oh, well, everybody, just enjoy 4th of July. Live, love, laugh, have sex. Just enjoy your life. Live it fully. Okay? Fully. That's all I have to say. Just love yourself.
Antonio, any final thoughts and words before you get back to walking your form all through that party?
Everybody, please enjoy the fireworks. If you're not taking part, just enjoy the fireworks in the bedroom. You know.
Yes, kapow. That's you know. Listen, yes, I'm sweating. I mean, Antonio, you got it like the 5th of July in here. Yes, I'm on to the next day. And here's the thing, ladies: love yourself, love your yoni. Stop running and getting your yoni cut and all of these different types of surgeries. Listen, the perfection came in the divine. It came when you were created. You don't need to seek out anything else. You were perfect in your being. And I just want to encourage you all tonight to be. Be who you are. Accept who you are. Step into the mirror. Disrobe. Look at everything from your mountains to your valleys to your rivers to your streams. And tell yourself that you love yourself. If your breasts are hanging on your tummy, just pull your pants up. No need to buy bras. See, there's something wonderful that's going on with your body. And so you just have to be thankful for where you're at. Stop being so critical and love yourself. This is Grown Folks Business, and we appreciate you. And we'll see you again live next week on InnerLightRadio.com.
I know you're used to letdowns and heartbreaks, lost in silhouettes of your heartaches. I can show you better, babe. I can show you better, babe. I know you're used to letdowns and heartbreaks, lost in silhouettes of your heartaches. I can show you better, babe. I can show you better, babe.
I can look in your soul and see it. You've been let